Islam, arise giving praise to Allah and hail and honor to his holy and divine prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, honors to all the Moorish Americans all around the world. Islamism is my religion, Islam is the law, and the law must live. Islam. Um, I wanted to, I'm making this video because I was a Moorish American. I proclaimed my nationality at 14 years old, and I was the only of my family to proclaim my nationality, and there weren't many Moors to be located outside the temple. So during the time of Thanksgiving, which is the third Thursday of November, I would feel kind of left out, kind of angry even, because in our Sunday school, we would circulate and study a document called Thanksgiving for Whom, which was from the Moorish guy of the 1980s, early 1980s. It's a really popular Moorish guy called Thanksgiving for Whom. And it would talk about the Moors and how the Moors were overcome by King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella's troops in Granada, Spain, and we lost our stronghold in 1491, and our entire culture was decimated. And the turkey was representation of the slain Turkish Moor of Baghdad. And after that, Columbus set sail, and the transatlantic slave trade started, and Moorish culture was ruined. And so that brings a lot of anger and a lot of even hatred for European nations and Spanish nations and Christianity. And it brings a lot of anger up because our forefathers were destroyed and decimated, and our families are now celebrating Thanksgiving in America, and we are all gathered around. Now, I don't want, as a brother who was 14 years old, and from 14 for maybe a decade, during Thanksgiving I would fast. I would wrap my turban up. I wouldn't participate in anything that my family was doing because I was so angry about the history of what happened to our glorious Moorish culture in Spain. We ruled Spain from 711 to 1491, and then finally our whole culture and it's to this day they erased any trace of Moors in Europe and definitely in Spain. But the anger and the hatred is something that I do not want to teach my child or my children. I have a 7-year-old, and he asked me, "Well, Daddy, why don't we celebrate Thanksgiving?" And I told him simply because we lost a war between another group of people. And because we lost the war with the other group of people, we don't think it as a day of Thanksgiving because we lost the war. And just to make it simple, but I'm still struggling with the idea of him not being able to see his family members when they come home from school, or to not participate in the gatherings of your family, the ones who fed you and clothed you and changed your diapers and bought you stuff for your birthdays and picked you up from school. These people are part of our family. And they may not claim their nationality. They may not participate or agree with why you don't celebrate Thanksgiving. But I think it's an opportunity that if you participate in what they see as their celebration, and make sure that their celebration, that your children know that it's their celebration, but you get an opportunity to be with your family, you're not going to teach hate. You're not teaching frustrating or separation, because these people loved you. They see a lot from different points of view. They even call them a different name. And a large majority of them was Christians. But when I was 14 years old, I had a turban wrapped around my head every Thanksgiving. And I fasted to let my people know that I was not with this. And there was a lot of anger and rage involved with it. And it didn't feel good. Even though I knew the truth about what happened to our people and how we fell in Spain on November 25th, 1491, and the Pope of Rome declared it a Thanksgiving for all Christians all around the world. And that bird on the table was representation of the slain Turkish Moor. I was angry. And so it was very difficult for me to say Thanksgiving or Happy Thanksgiving. I wouldn't say that. And to this day, I don't say that because it's not my celebration. I can't celebrate a war that we lost and a culture that was almost decimated until the advent of our holy prophet, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So when the prophet brings in the chapters holy instruction for thy children, I don't think I introduced myself. My name is Brother Earl Chismell out of Chicago, Illinois. Islam to all the Moors. And peace and love to all those who are looking in who are not Moorish Americans. We praise Allah for you as well. In chapter 23, Holy Instructions for Thy Children, it says, consider that thou art a parent, the importance of thy trust. The being that thou hast produced, it is thy duty to support. Also upon thee also it dependeth whether the child of thy bosom be a blessing or a curse to thyself, a useful or worthless member to the community. Prepare him early with instruction and season his minds with the maxims of truth. That comes out of chapter 23 of the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science of Blood of America. So the prophet teaches us to season our children's minds with the maxims of truth. Does that teach them hate? To teach them to hate the Europeans or hate Christianity? No. Because the prophet told us specifically to learn to what? Learn to love instead of hate. So when you come and say, well, Brother Chismell or Earl, you coming to the Thanksgiving celebration that your grandmother's put together? Well, yeah, I'll stop by because I want to see my family. I want to hug them. I want to kiss them. I may not participate in all of the activities that come with it, but I want to be grateful and show gratitude for those who took care of me when I couldn't take care of myself. Those who showed up for me when I couldn't show up for myself. They're not Muslims. They don't even consider themselves to be Moors, but they are my family. But for my child, I'm going to tell my child we lost the war. We almost lost our culture to a nation of people with a certain religion that said we couldn't do what we wanted to do because they thought that it was wrong and they wanted to destroy us. When we brought all this culture to Europe, talking about in bathhouses, outdoor lamps for miles, and underground stores and sword making and all this type of industries and education and literacy we brought to Europe. And it's destroyed. And I'm supposed to tell my child that it's okay to celebrate it. No, we're not celebrating. What we're doing is we're coming with our families and giving honor to them because they're together. They have a day off of work. We don't get a chance to get together. But teach your babies the truth. Teach them the truth. I'm still struggling with it a little bit because I want to be around my family members. But at the same time, I'm not going to compromise the truth. But for my child, for my 7-year-old, I just tell him we lost the war. We lost the war, baby, and that's why we don't celebrate. If we won the war, then it would be our day of Thanksgiving. But we lost. So it's not our day of Thanksgiving. And it's just that simple. It's a 7-year-old. So it's not important that he understands the intricacies of how people literally hate us and don't like us and don't want us to exist. We'll get to that as he grows. But right now, baby, we lost the war. It's not our day of Thanksgiving because we lost. It's just that simple. And if you go to the story of the Moors in Spain, I'm going to read the last few sentences of this book by Stanley Lane Poole. And also there's one called The Introduction to African Civilizations. These are just two, I would call this Education 101, that talks about the Moors in Spain. The last page of the book, the story of the Moors in Spain, says, the Moors were banished for a while. For the Moors were banished. For a while, Christian Spain shone like the moon with the borrowed light. Then came the eclipse. And in that darkness, Spain has groveled ever since. The true memorial of the Moors is seen in desolate tracts of utter barrenness, where once the Moslem grew luxuriant veins and olives and yellow ears of corn, in a stupid, ignorant population, where once wit and learning flourished. And the general stagnation and degradation of a people which has hopelessly fallen into the scale of the nations and has deserved its humiliation. We civilized Spain. The story of the Moors in Spain, Stanley Lane Poole. A lot of people know about it. If you don't, it's your opportunity to get a lesson. We ruled Spain. We educated them. We brought culture and brought a light during the dark ages of the European. The European didn't want it. we fought, we lost. It's not our day of Thanksgiving. That's what I tell my child. And Noble Drew Ali tells you to season your children's minds with the maxims of truth. And also, where is the Moorish content? Moorish American cartoons, Moorish American lessons. I need to purchase that. If I have a 7-year-old that goes to school with Europeans, and all different nationalities of people, they want them to be in the holiday play. We need to teach this Moorish American culture from a religious and a civic point of view, meaning that we are Moorish Americans. There are people who don't even go to the temple, haven't been to the temple in decades, but they Moorish Americans. You ask them what their nationality is. We should love them. And we should embrace them into our culture, because they see a lot from different points of view. They not where they once were. They may not feel comfortable going over the one-on-ones for the 4 millionth time and not progressing, and that's okay. We got to keep studying our lesson. Don't get me wrong. When they say who made you, that should be every Moorish American with an answer. And if somebody asks you how many days are in creation, that should be every Moorish American that knows that answer. But we have Moorish Americans everywhere who feel that they can't be included in our nation, in their nation, because they are not a member of the temple any longer. But they have a nationality card, and they say Allah is God, Noble Drew Ali is the prophet. Everybody is a certain space along the way. And if we love, and if your family invites you to something, those aunties, uncles, mother, father, grandmother, and they the ones that took care of you, show them some honor. The prophet said, if you got a wife that's not in the temple, don't give her 1 apple, give her 2. Show love. Learn to love. Be kind. If they ask you, well, why don't you celebrate this? Then you can tell them in love. It ain't, oh, you stupid, you shouldn't be doing this. And no, you never get them that way. Love is how you get them. Stay on your square, stay truthful, but love is the savior of the world. It changed that hard heart of the unconscious more and turns them. Maybe I need to study what Noble Drew Ali is talking about, because he seems better and more at peace. But when I was angry and saying, no, I don't want to deal with Thanksgiving, do you know what they did to us? It wasn't working. I was mad. I was feeling bad. I was feeling angry. So how is it that I know more than other people know about myself, but I'm angry and they not, and they happy? Something's wrong. The glory and the shame is misplaced. Maybe I need to calm down. Maybe I need to teach the truth. Maybe I need to get my emotions under control. Because when I was joining the temple at 14 years old and they told me what they did to me and my people, you see how I'm feeling right now? Wasn't no possible way I was going to get them Europeans and them Spanish and them, the other nations any honor who decided to destroy me. We was at war. It was simple. We got some, they got some. They got the majority of what they want. I teach my child to love. And I teach my child we don't celebrate Thanksgiving till his teacher there. His teacher's a European. Yeah. But we got Sunday school here. We got school here at home because he has to interact in American society. So, he got European teachers. We told the teacher that we don't celebrate. I wrote a note because of the conflict between the Spanish and the Moorish in Spain and the Portuguese and the other nations. We don't celebrate it. It's just that simple. And it's not in a malicious or angry way. It's just we don't do it because our people were humiliated. And to this day are being humiliated because of the troops of King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella, who finally banished the Moors and pushed us out of Spain and destroyed our entire culture. And to this day, if it wasn't for Noble Drew Ali, we wouldn't even know anything about that. But if this is our nation, we got to take care of our nation. If they're in the temple, if they're not in the temple, if they're good and moral, and if they law abiders. And what I mean by law abiders, they're not gonna go in nobody's house and take somebody's house and mark this is our land. It might be your land, but it ain't your house. You didn't build a house. But that's neither here nor there. Moorish Americans. We have an entire nation all across this country, all around the world. And if we just start bringing the Moors together and showing them love, we'll have a giant block of unity that has never been seen before. But we need more Moorish content. We need more things for our babies. So cartoons, animation, coloring books, Small books. If you have it, connect me, link me to what we got so we can put this together for the babies. Maybe we can do Saturday morning cartoons, small animation. Animation is easy right now. The technology that we have as Moorish Americans and that's available to us as American citizens, or just Americans, or just people, period. Technology is incredible. So we should be able to put together at least 15-minute cartoon segment. If we got to run that one cartoon, once it's vetted and it's known to be factually accurate, and it's good mental food for our babies, let's run that. You know? So I want to say all praise is due to Allah. And peace to my brothers and sisters who are not Moors. The Moorish Americans, I mean, you know, the Moorish, and honest to the Moorish Americans who just somehow lost their way and they're not with the temple. But they know they Moorish Americans, and if you ask them for a donation to a Moorish American event, they're going to give it to you. Love your family, man. We love the Negro, we love the unconscious more than we love the Moorish Americans. We love them more. Why you can't let a Moorish American and decide they want to do something different a little bit more? Unconscious Negro, you go to the holiday party at your job and hug them and kiss them and do whatever you do and have a good time with them. But when it comes to the Moorish American, they come to what temple you got, or you not in a temple, or you see it different from I do. Now you got to fight with that person. That's your brother or sister. That's your brother and your sister. You do the unconscious Asiatic better than you do the Moorish American. No, I don't go to the same temple you do. No, I didn't get my sheet papers from where you got them from. No, I don't understand Islamism the way you understand it, but I'm a Moorish American. I proclaim my nationality. We're family. Anyway, last point is Islam to everybody watching in. What are we going to do for these babies? My 7-year-old, I'm going to give him the best I can. If I got to draw pictures and teach him more science through fun, that's what we're going to do. Because that's what we got to do for our babies. Brother Kerry Alende Eel put this book together. It's called Moorish Science Temple of America, Frequently Asked Questions by Brother Kerry Alende Eel. I got this in last month in October during the convention. Under Brother Tyrone Kimball Bay, who was their Supreme Grand Sheik. But Brother Kerry Alende, this is a great book. It's a great resource, and it asks questions like what is nationality, why is it important to us? Just questions that Moorish Americans may ask. It says, what does a bylaw have to do with being a Moorish American? Questions like, how does one become a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America? What is the process by one receives that nationality identification card? It just has Q&A all the way throughout the book. This is a great book by Brother Kerry Alende Eel. I've read it. There's a few things I just small amount of things that I would say differently, but that's just me. This is his demonstration. But I would urge every Moorish American to get a copy of this book, and Brother Kerry Alende Eel, I'll put the link, and it's called Frequently Asked Questions for the Moorish Americans. And I love all Moors, whether you call yourself a Moorish American or just a Moor. If you know that bloodline of Ruth and Abraham and Solomon and Boaz and Jesse King David, if that run through you, and you willing to understand why this fez is a deep red, and why the sisters wrap their heads, and why we need to build our own nation. And if you don't spend fiat dollars, you got gold and silver. Let's get together and figure this out. I love you. I'm in Chicago, Illinois. We're here to build a nation. We're here to build a nation. We're here to actually nurture the nation. The nation is already built, believe it or not. Just nurture it. Stop being mean to your Moors. Stop being mean to your Moors. We need more content. Teach your babies, your small ones. We lost the war. That's why we don't celebrate Thanksgiving. Just that simple. We lost the war, and we don't celebrate Thanksgiving. And instead of that, what we'll do is we'll study ourselves. We'll study our history so that we'll know, and you can tell your babies that. Man, peace and love to everybody who logged on. I hope you can share it. But if you have children's content, coloring books, animations, Moorish, American, coloring books, animations, any type of content that we can share for our children across this nation, we need that. And yeah, so my name is Earl Chismell. Um, and yeah, I'm honored to be a Moorish American. Moorish American is my nationality. There is no God but Allah, and Noble Drew Ali is his angel. And for people that see it differently, you got a right to see that differently. You could be a Moorish American Christian. Don't know how that happened, but you could be that. I'm going to love you just the same. Because you know your nationality. You got what everybody else on the night, but you just got to put that divine creed with it. But you know your nationality. That's the order of the day. So, Islam to all the Moors. K Glover Ill, I see you. Brother Sharif Anayil Bay, I see you. Brother X Bay in North Carolina, I see you. Gary Bay, Islam to you. Freeman Gooden, Mushin Dawson, praise Allah for you. Sister Dawn Wright, Brother Joseph Young Bay, Charles Howard Bay, Islam to you. Sheila C.B. Breeze Bay, sister does a lot of work, praise Allah for you. Sheaf Taylor, Islam to you. Marcus Kidd Bay, Rob Munir Mac Bay, praise Allah for you. Omar Ali, Renisi Ill, and all the other Moors who logged on. I appreciate you, and share this video. But more importantly, if you have Moorish American resources or lessons for children, that's what we need. We need somebody too to put an animated series together for Moorish American children that we can run live on the Google, YouTube, or even a Facebook station. So with that, I say peace.